fan theory show, right? Whether Jack could have lived and survived if Kate had just been a little less selfish, and like moved up slightly.
Shift up, bruh.
Yeah, could it have happened?
Shift.
I won't let you go.
In theory,
Jack could have survived.
they couldn't.
Buoyant, whatever that word is.
Buoyancy.
Yes, buoyancy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Buoyant. If the person was in the water, how long did they have to live?
Hypothermia sets in.
It was accurate to James Cameron's movie.
Jack was finished.
Because he still told her, he's like, you're going to die very old, lady. Okay.
Peace.
Yeah.
So long, suckers. No, I'm joking.
Take off your life jacket thing, place it under, and that'll give us more buoyancy.
Shocking turn of events.
Love, guys. Oh my gosh. I as well.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, let's go back to that.
Oh!
She was in a lifeboat, right?
Yeah.
That could have been the movie.
Yeah, facts.
Jack should have made it.
The dude's going down. I can't argue with that. No.
Yeah.
Like if there's any deadline that you want to miss, it's this one. You know, the deadline coming. Are these dog jokes?
Oh my gosh, Ryan, that was a dog joke.
No.
It was a solid dog joke, but a dog joke nonetheless.
Hey to the movie show fans.
Hey.
Indeed. So we're here to speak about Preach Closet for a few. So as you can see, there's Preach Closet right behind us, and we do love Preach Closet. And you will love it as well, because what we're about to bring up is special to y'all.
Dedicated to just the movie show.
Yeah.
Watchers out there in the world.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes. So we're gonna be having a challenge for y'all, and this challenge is gonna be a series of numbers distributed.
Yes. So as you're watching the movie show, there will be a series of numbers that are gonna pop up in
Every
random
minute.
parts of the show.
Show,
Yes,
yeah,
random
yeah.
parts of the show. So as you're watching the movie show, as
Yes.
you're watching Session Ryan,
We'll reveal
do
a
the
number.
most and tell you guys about the movies. There'll be numbers that are gonna show up, and if you put those numbers together at the end of the show, you will have a special, an amazing
Wow.
discount code.
Yes, a discount code, a 10% discount code for any purchase in Preach Closet. So do make sure that you watch throughout the show. You'll have the codes, and yes, you'll be able to make that purchase with the 10% decrease.
10% discount.
Discount. That's
So you
the
can
word.
watch movies in style.
Yes, cinema in style. Yes.
Hey to the movie show fans.
Hey.
What is up? This is the movie show. I'm Sash.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Maverick.
He is Maverick.
I'm Jeff.
Maverick and Jeff. You're like, who are they? What are... No, let me not do what I did.
Sup,
tell
Jeff?
you. So, the reason we have two other people on the movie show today is because we have a new show type.
I think this is the long-awaited show.
The
right?
long-awaited show.
Yes, people. We spoke about this last week, didn't we? Did we speak about this last
Not on the
week?
movie show, no. We
Not
spoke
on the
about it last
movie
week.
show.
Yes.
Okay,
Spoke about it
I've
behind
been
the
waiting for
scenes.
this.
Okay, right?
I've been
Excited
waiting
the
for
show.
this.
There we
This
go.
is great, but yes, format-wise.
Yeah, so this is a fan theory show, right? So the whole point of the show is to dive into different fan theories and prove that was not intentional.
And float on the
It's not
information.
intentional. I didn't mean to say it. Okay, anyway. So yes, prove whether this fan theory is correct or So the fan theory we decided to pick is one that has been fought for many years.
Yes.
It is so intense that the director of this film made an entire documentary just to prove whether he was right or wrong. The fan theory of whether Jack could have lived and survived if Kate had just been a little
Just
less
moved up.
selfish, and moved up slightly.
Shift up,
and
bruh.
yeah, could it have happened?
Shift.
So we have all done research, and we are going to state our case
And see if it floats.
and see if it floats or not. And then at the end, we'll decide, do we agree with the fan theory that Jack actually could have survived the
Yes.
sinking of the Titanic, or was Leonardo DiCaprio doomed from
Yeah.
the start?
Yes, he could have survived.
Why?
And reasons why, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, right? And the first one that I'm sure we all watched it, the Mythbusters.
Mythbuster.
Yes. So they proved it to us that it is actually possible that before they even used the life
life jacket,
the life jacket, they could have survived, but obviously they were not going to be 100% out of the water, right? But all you need is warmth within the upper body, type of thing. So even after they used the life jackets, they showed us that it's possible for them that they could have been out of the water and Jack could have survived if she did kind of scoop over. And also the bonyot, whatever that word is.
Buoyancy.
Yes, buoyancy. Right. Obviously with the it's buoyancy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Buoyancy.
So buoyancy is basically
Yes.
whether something can like float or
Float,
balance
yeah.
on water. Yeah.
So obviously with the ocean, right? With the ocean, it's salt water, and with salt water can make you float either way, right? Yeah, they could have basically both survived if they balanced it out, if they stretched their bodies specifically, or if they sat upright.
So you're for the fact that
I'm
Jack
for
should have
Jack.
made it.
Yeah, he could have made it, man.
Yeah. So Jack survived one. So for
I'm ashamed
Yes.
of saying this before I even say it. Kate hijacked his life from him.
Sorry. Oh, but that let go was painful. Yeah. No, it was very painful. Yeah, it was very painful. I won't let you go.
Okay, so your Maverick's argument is that if they could both fit on the door, that they would have both made it. But now, could they both have fit on the door? Would it have stayed afloat?
So on the physical side of it, buoyancy, yes,
Buoyancy.
buoyancy, yes,
I like how Ryan says it.
buoyancy.
Said like it.
Could the door stay afloat with both of them? The door was about 78 inches, 2 meter long, and 32 inches, 0.8 meter wide, similar to the one tested in Mythbusters. Right? If the door thickness was 2 inches, 0.05 meter, it could displace about 160 kg of water before sinking. Rose was around 55 kg, meaning there was only about 105 kg left for Jack. Jack was estimated to weigh around 75 to 80 kg, which technically means they could both be supported by the wooden piece. Yes.
in theory.
All right, in theory. Okay, so currently Jack should have lived. Ryan.
I say no. Right? I say no. And from my observation, so I watched the Mythbusters entire episode and I asked myself lots of questions while I was
Wasn't
going
it nice
through
to
it.
watch Mythbusters
It was-
again?
it was
I
lovely.
miss Mythbusters. I love Mythbusters as a
Yeah.
kid. Yo.
And
was my first
by the way,
time.
Really?
Yeah.
I grew up on that stuff.
Dude.
man.
I've seen their
Every-
faces so many times. But I've
Discovery
never watched
Channel, man.
Adam
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even
So
has a
this is
nice
how I see it.
surname.
Ah,
Adam
savage. So I asked myself lots of questions while I was going through it. So at first, what they do is they test it theoretically.
Theoretically.
See, there's my beyond. Boing. See?
Yeah.
All right. They scaled it down and then they tested the weight. They had a piece of wood. They did the whole physics thing. And in theory, they couldn't. But the thing that got me was that those test dummies that they placed on the door were dead, which means that what your body naturally does is tries to balance itself and put itself in the center and make it work.
Yeah.
Which that wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And I think they did two like kind of small scale tests. The one they did was a thermal test.
Yeah.
So that they tested if the person was in the water, how long did they have to live? And then outside the water, how long did they have to live? And the crazy thing is that it was accurate to James Cameron's movie. For me, even the way it floated and what it did, and in the movie, I was just like, wow,
Yeah, it's the
that's
same
crazy.
thing.
But then they did it real life. And guess what? They actually did stay on board, but their bodies were mostly covered with water.
Water, yeah.
So then what they did, being, what are they, like physics scientists?
Yeah, they're scientists.
So then
Okay.
what they did, using their brain, they said, no, take off your life jacket
jacket.
thing, place it under, and that'll give us more buoyancy. More buoyancy. But my argument with that is that number one, would they have thought about
Yeah,
that?
would they have thought about that?
And number two, with them being freezing, would they have had the energy and all of that too? So it's for me, I'd say plausible, but in my opinion, less likely,
Less likely.
very less likely. Yes.
Okay. I really, really, really wanted it to be that Jack could have survived, right? But when I did my research, so I watched the Mythbusters episode, and after that I was like, you see, he could have made it. But then I went, so James Cameron, on the 25th year anniversary of Titanic being released, the film, not the actual Titanic, he created a 45-minute documentary where he basically dived into 3 different things that were in the film and tested whether they were accurate or not. Because obviously with the Titanic, like, a lot of it is, this is possibly what could have happened, we don't know, but like based on what we found, based on how the ship was found underwater. So for example, like the whole thing of, did the ship break? It did break in half, we know that for a fact, but did the back of it go down 90 degrees? He looks into like, was that plausible? He also looks into the fact that if there had been more lifeboats on board, would more people have survived? That one was pretty interesting because they tested, it would have taken, just to get one lifeboat from being on the ship into the water, do you know how long it would have taken for them to just get
To like
one?
fill them. To like fill them and
Not
then-
just fill them, but
Oh.
also, because you know it was that old style rope, like pulley system where like they had to get like lower, because you can't just drop the
Oh,
lifeboat
wow.
into the water.
Isn't it like an hour?
It takes 30 minutes, right? The ship sank, I think, in 2 hours. They had, was it about 2.5 hours, wasn't it?
Damn.
So they didn't have enough lifeboats for the people on board. Of all the lifeboats that they did have, only 2 weren't successfully put into the water with people on them because they ran out of time. So even if there were more lifeboats on board, they wouldn't have been able, in the time that they had, in the time that the ship sunk, to get people onto them. And they actually said it might have been more chaotic because, you know, like literally they had lifeboats coming down on top of each other. So that was interesting. But then the final test was, would Jack have been able to fit on the wooden piece of debris and as a result survived? So what he did was he got 2 stunt artists, both likened to Rose and Jack's height, weight, etc. They dressed them up in the exact same clothing. So she had the life jacket and the coat on. He obviously didn't have anything on. They put them in a pool. They tested the level that your body gets to. They were monitoring them the whole time. Because when hypothermia sets in, basically your organs will all shut down and you'll die. So they obviously had to monitor whether hypothermia would have set in. The first test with Jack, all the way the movie had it.
After only 20 minutes in Titanic time, Jack is clinically hypothermic and has to be taken out of the water.
In 28-degree water, it can be pretty quick. People will lose consciousness and their heart will cease to function adequately and pump adequately.
And it was a pretty steep curve, and it was a very clear curve. He was losing heat fast, dropping down. He wouldn't have made it. The movie was correct.
Jack was finished. He was gone. The hypothermia set in and that, yeah. Then they tested to see, could they both have, like, just if they'd both been on the, so not, they would have still been in the water, but like some of them would have been out of the water. They'd monitored, and he also, the dip wasn't as steep, but he still didn't make it. Then they tried to see if they could both get on all fours so that their bodies were out of the water. This was interesting. So when Jack was out of the water, she was fine because she had the life jacket and the coat on. He started to shake.
Yeah.
Now, if you're underwater and you start to shake, it's actually bad. You'll actually die quicker. But what's interesting is when you shake out of water, your body actually warms itself up. But then she possibly also then would have said, here, you're shaking, take the life jacket, which that added layer of insulation would have helped him. But the problem was they were out there for a very long time. So now it's not just could he get out the water, it's would he have been able to remain alive for the amount of time it took them to find, for the lifeboat to come back and to find them, and that's where it gets sketchy. Based on his test, he was like, Jack, if they had understood hypothermia, which the 2 of them didn't understand hypothermia, so they wouldn't have known, keep at least the top part of your body out of the water. And if, they'd figured out, okay, let's both try and be on and let me give you my life jacket, there's a good chance that Jack could have survived. However, in character, the minute he was in love with her, what does a man do who's in love with a woman?
Surrenders himself.
He'll be able to sacrifice himself so she survives, which means he probably wouldn't have taken the life jacket from her because it would have affected her safety. The minute he saw we can't both fit on this thing, it's not going to float, he immediately surrendered and said, it's okay. Why? Because I love you. So based on that, there's very small chance that he could have made it in those conditions. There is a small chance. But based on the character and the storyline and what they knew at the time, I don't think he would have chosen to survive. I think he chose to save her.
I mean, I think it's also shown in the movie Like I feel like he prepared it like from when he was there.
Because he still told her, he's
Yeah.
like, "You're gonna die very old, lady. You're gonna
Yeah,
you know,
children.
and he's
blah,
gonna
blah, blah, yeah.
okay."
Peace.
Yeah,
So
I
long,
knew.
suckers. No, I'm joking. But then I did think this was interesting. So this kinda does prove that the fan theory. So the fan theory has some truth to it. He possibly could have survived, but they had to know, like,
I think it was too tight.
it was too tight, but there
Yeah.
was a chance that they could have. James Cameron did say, though, at the end of the documentary, which kind of proves that the fans were sort of right. He said if he could make Titanic, or if he did make Titanic again, not that he wants to, but if he did, he would have made the wooden piece of debris smaller. Which would have then,
can't win,
there
man.
would have been no doubt. Like, you would have looked at it and gone, nope, he can't have
He
it.
also mentioned it to the
Jack was
Mythbusters
gonna
what?
die.
that
Now what?
in the script Jack is supposed to die.
Based on that, we gotta say this is plausible. Rosa Jack could have survived.
I think you guys are missing the point here. The script says Jack dies. He has to die. Maybe we screwed up. The board should have been a little tiny bit smaller, but the dude's going down.
I can't argue with that. No.
It's part of the film, and if he survived, like, what would the end be like?
Yeah, so it makes sense, yeah.
You could
It
have
was a
changed.
tragic love story.
You could have changed that, you know, that tune to something more happy, you know.
Credits roll. Yeah, no. But it's quite funny because even, do you know, like, Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt even teased Leonardo DiCaprio about the fact that Jack could have survived, because, you know, they were in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
When they were doing press, they even teased him and were like, Jack could have. So after doing the research, he could have. It was very slim though. Like you know how in Avengers,
That's why I say unlikely.
there was like, what did they say? There were like 10,000 possible outcomes, and they only won one of them. I think that's one of these cases. They would have only won one of them. But then Jack loved.
It's a 50-50.
I feel like it's more an 80-20.
Really?
Yeah, it's very slim chance.
Sure.
And they would have had to have known about the buoyancy,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
hypothermia. And they couldn't test it. Like this, they kept testing it.
Yeah.
They had one shot.
See, guys,
Yeah.
it's not who you know, it's what you know.
What?
And see, girls, it's not who you know, it's who loves you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
You know, it could be who you know, because if you knew the guy on the lifeboat, and they're like, no, I'm looking for Jack. Where's Jack? Jack! If
But
you,
he was dead by then.
yeah, but I'm saying maybe they would have come quicker. You know, maybe it would have been like, you could have paid him.
The problem with the Titanic was it was a time game. Time was against them. Unfortunately, time was against them. And in this case, when you're trying not to get hypothermia, you need time to work with you, because the longer you're in that condition.
You know what's crazy? There's two facts to this that just like finishes this thing. Number one, that didn't really happen with Jack and Kate.
The
No, but it-
Titanic
yeah,
did happen,
it did, yeah.
but Jack and
Yeah.
Rose didn't happen. Yeah.
And number two, it happened already, so it doesn't matter.
No, right? Whoa, people actually died. Like actual people.
No,
whoa. Like that mom that put her kids to sleep,
Yes.
and the old couple, that was traumatizing. Yeah.
Like if there's any deadline that you want to miss, it's this one. You know, the deadline coming. Are these dog jokes?
Oh my gosh, Ryan, that was a dog joke.
No.
It was a solid dog joke, but a dog joke nonetheless.
No, because it's like, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. So you're like, okay, wait, what are we going to do? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Rose, even when she jumped off from the lifeboat, love, guys. Oh my gosh. When she would jump back into the
Wait
ship.
a second.
You
Wait,
remember-
let's go back to that.
Oh,
She was in a lifeboat, right?
Yeah, she was
Wait,
in the
so
So
lifeboat.
if she stayed in a lifeboat,
She was
Jack
selfish
would have
from the
Jack would have
survived.
been fine.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't that. It was because he would have been the only one on the wooden dock.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
So
okay, no, I changed it.
Actually,
Jack should have made it.
Jack should have made it.
Wow.
Kate, how dare you?
Turn of events. Shocking turn of events. If she had stayed in the lifeboat,
Yes,
he would have found
Jack
a piece of
would have-
debris.
exactly.
He would have made it. They would
But
have
what are the
reunited.
chances that they would have found each other again?
It's possible, you know. People in life will find one another.
Now you see, that could have been this. That could have been the movie.
Yeah, facts.
Like they make it to the shore and everything.
They should have.
Jack, I knew you'd come.
back. There's Jack.
Amara, I think they're also just trying to keep it as accurate as possible as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Jack should have lived, guys. Yeah. So,
because of love,
our final verdict is Jack
could have survived.
couldn't have survived.
You have to be selfish in life. No, I'm joking. Don't you? I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. But she could have been like, I have to live on for Jack.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
There's
stay.
the possibility that he could
Yeah.
have survived,
Yeah,
but
it's
it was
crazy.
very small. And James
What happened,
Cameron
happened.
said he would have made the wooden piece of debris smaller.
You can't win in life.
You can't,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Moral of the story: Jack died. Her heart went on. Just let the jewel. It was a great movie. Didn't they win a lot of Grammys?
They did.
Exactly.
They did.
Exactly. So
There we go.
You can't have your cake and eat it.
This has been the movie show.
On Active TV.
Until next week. Peace.
The end.